Hello, everybody. Anybody that's out there watching, um, trying to kick this thing off as we always do on a Friday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And again, I'm going to be a little slow how I get things started simply because um, I want to allow everybody to come into the chat room. Let me kill my volume out here on my trusty little iPad where I'm watching you, watching me, watching you, watching me. Um, let's see here. I may need my reading glasses since I have my wrong glasses on tonight. But anyway, see you guys kind of rolling in the room there. Let's see here. I've got Don, Raymond, Super Duper Paratrooper, Lone Bull, Big Mo. What's up, everybody? I know we're gonna usually we have about the first 2 to 5 minutes. Quite a few people roll in. I see a bunch of people coming in right now. So I'll give you guys just a second. We'll continue with a couple of shout outs here. And again, I have my wrong glasses on. James, Armando, Vans, and I can't read the rest of that. Anthony Shepard, y'all, I'm blind as a bat. These glasses are about 5 years old. My good glasses are one of the arms is broken off of it. These glasses were before I got so old that I needed bifocals and trifocals. So they're simply for seeing at a distance. I can see fine at a distance with them, but I can't read with them. So those of you guys that are probably older than 40 certainly know what I'm talking about, right? Good to see everybody here. Let's see. Willie's in, Bush, James. Good to see all you guys in here. I'm gonna kind of go over some quick things real quick that I've been kind of keeping an eye on in the news here lately. Let's see here. The first thing, real quick, is I'm sure many of you guys saw it this week. The lady who, which is kind of an odd story here, but the lady who shot the guy, I think in the face, maybe not in the face. I don't know what she was shooting him with, but she had left her two and her 4 year old kid in the car, and she ran inside the store. Which, I mean, come on, you know what? That's a no no. Look, I'm not going to beat up on the lady because she did a great thing. She shot a would be robber in the face, but she left a 2 year old and a 4 year old in a running car with no supervision and a loaded gun in the glove box. I hope we don't have too many people doing that. However, it worked out to her favor or in her favor. The guy went to steal the vehicle and she ran out the store. I guess she jumped in the passenger side and tried to get the guy to stop, and the guy would not stop and kept hitting the gas to go. And she reached into the glove box, pulled her gun out, and shot him in the face. At least I heard in the face. And the guy, but from what I understand, it's not life-threatening injury. So either it wasn't a large caliber gun, or she just grazed him, or something like that. Pulled out the SUV, the little small SUV, ended up hitting a telephone pole or something like that. So anyway, I mean, she definitely thwarted the whole theft of the vehicle, and the guy's being charged with a number of different things. But it's definitely a good thing that this happened in her favor, that she was able to get her kids. I'm sure she could care less about the car. Just the two kids being kidnapped that had to have been awful. But man, let's not let this happen too often, guys. You know what I mean? I mean, let's make sure that if we're gonna be running in stores without our kids, that's a little bit not saying I've never done it. I'm not one of these guys that does things and acts like I'm too good for it. No, I've done that. I left my son in the vehicle before. I know you can't ever choose where anything like that's going to happen, but I've left my son before, and I have kind of a weird habit. The few times I have done it, where I will pull up. I'll pull up at a weird angle. I'll cut my wheel all the way to the other side, and then I'll throw it in. I'll pull the emergency brake, figuring that as I walk in the store and look out, I'm going to see if somebody tries to jump in, and they're going to have to figure out, one, my emergency brake, and two, they're going to have to figure out, well, as soon as they hit the gas, that the vehicle's swinging out like that. Instead of backing straight up, it's going to swing out. So I figure those are things that are going to buy me a little bit of time. I know it sounds like I've overthought that, but sometimes there are times whenever I have felt like when I needed to run in real quick to grab something, like when my son has been sick and couldn't get down, or I didn't want to get him down. But again, I don't recommend that. I don't think it's ever a good idea to leave your kid in a car because this could happen. I mean, imagine if this guy had gotten away with our 2 and 4 year old. What would he have done with those kids? You know what I mean? Seriously, maybe he would have just shoot them out, which is bad enough. Got to the next corner and opened the door and said, "Get out," and the kids might have gotten out in some strange neighborhood or whatever. So anyway, it's probably not a very good idea to do what she did. On top of that, she had a loaded gun in the glove box. Two unsupervised toddlers with a loaded gun. Again, I'm not here to bash the lady. I'm glad she did what she did, and I'm happy for her. I'm happy that her kids are safe. I'm happy that she was able to thwart this robbery and all that. I'm just saying I don't think she got lucky. She got lucky because there were too many things working against her that this could have turned out much worse than what it was. Let's see, guys. We've got, I guess, some somewhat good news. Depends on how quickly this moves. As you guys saw, that Supreme Court Justice Kennedy is going to be stepping down, retiring, and that's a good thing for us. I was really hoping it would be Ruth Bader Ginsburg that would be leaving, because that's a without question a liberal, screwed up, messed up, twisted view of the Constitution by an actual Supreme Court justice, if you can believe that. Very unconstitutional lady right there. She needs to go. And I was really hoping that Trump was going to be able to replace her during his tenure as president. Kennedy, although Kennedy was appointed by Reagan, he has not been, on our side. He's not been somebody that we could always depend on. So with that being said, I mean, yeah, we should be able to now hopefully get a conservative in there who will protect our Second Amendment rights. And we don't have to worry about what mood Kennedy wakes up in. Kennedy, like Roberts, Roberts, what he did, how he flip-flopped on the whole Obamacare thing. Kennedy has never been a guy that we could ever depend on. So hopefully we'll get somebody in there that now it's going to be a steadfast conservative Second Amendment vote every time. And we can, keep those other four liberals at bay, and not have to worry about them. The encouraging thing to me is actually that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who's like 185 years old, she'll be either. I'm shocked that she hasn't retired yet. Which, I mean, honestly, when you're almost 200 years old, why retire? I mean, what else is there? You hardly ever work. What are you going to do? You're actually going to work in a garden, or you're going to go play golf? I mean, if she swung a golf club, she'd break all the vertebrae in her back. I mean, she's old as dirt. So she really has no incentive to retire. I mean, she just soon die on the bench. Unfortunately, she seems like she's a very healthy person and is going to live forever. I don't want to sound cruel and ugly, but I think she's a horrible person. And, when she passes on, hopefully it's during Trump's tenure and he can replace her, because if that's the case, instead of it being a 5-4, which always makes us nervous when it comes to the Second Amendment, it'll be a 6-3, which is almost a slam dunk. But I really think that, at some point with all of these illegal aliens coming in, we will have Democratic president again. And when we do, I feel like we'll probably never have another Republican president, because, if the Democrats are successful in opening borders like they want, they can say what they want. They really do want open borders. All their actions show that they want open borders. Well, if they do that, we will never have another conservative or even a Republican president, simply because they'll be outvoted every single time. We can't take on 15, 20, 30 million more people and ever expect them to win another election. That's why I feel like the Supreme Court is so important right now. It may seem like kind of a small thing that we have Trump about to appoint a new justice that will be, steadfast and conservative with the Second Amendment. But it is important, because we're going to need the Supreme Court to protect us, most likely, against our next president. So that's what's scary to me. I've often said that Trump is only as pro-gun as he feels like the general public is. Trump is a people pleaser. I voted for Trump, so I'm not bashing Trump. But Trump wants to make people happy. And Trump, I don't think, has a political principle about him. I think he wants to do what the majority wants. And I feel like that if we have one or two more mass shootings or mass killings, I feel like Trump might see the tide turn and all of a sudden feel like, hey, maybe the general public does want gun control, and then Trump can move in that direction. So I feel like the Supreme Court is there to protect us against if Trump flip flops or against our next Democratic president. So that's why I think this is so important to me. And again, we've got 2 more years with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm speaking about Trump's term. If she, again, I don't think she's going to retire. I think she's going to have to, I'm not trying to sound cold, but I think she's going to have to die in that chair, on that bench, because she's not going to go away. Again, what does she have to gain by retiring? What's she going to go do? Go knit or whatever. It's not, again, they don't work that much as it is. So, I mean, she's in essence essentially retired already. She just has to show up for work a couple of months through the summer. So anyway, I don't think she's going away. So we can hope and pray that, Trump gets one more shot at it. Sotomayor is not going anywhere. Neither is, what's her name? The transgender, gosh, what is her name? Gosh, I can't think of her name now. I think that's the last one that was appointed in there. She's not going anywhere. They're both young ladies or younger women, so they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So, the Clarence Thomas is not going anywhere on our side. So I think we're pretty firm there. I think we're going to be good for a while. Roberts is somewhat young. I don't think he'll be hanging around for a while. Obviously, Gorsuch is, a younger man. If we can get somebody in there, we'll be good for another 20, 30 years, at least in our lifetime. I know that sounds selfish, but unfortunately, I see the tide turning again with the Democrats being able to get open borders. That's going to usher in all these people in here who will now, since we never have another another Republican president, that means that as these conservative justices retire or die, these Democratic presidents are going to be putting in people in there that are going to essentially rewrite the Constitution. My prediction is I won't be around to see it, but in 50 years, the Constitution will be rewritten. At that point, they will have the ability to go in there and amend some of these amendments. And obviously, the Second Amendment will be the first thing to be amended, maybe the only thing to be amended. You don't hear anybody else talking about amending any other amendments. It's only the Second Amendment. So I do feel like within 50 years, the Second Amendment will be amended. And unfortunately, guys, we're going to lose our rights, our, inalienable rights. So, if you guys or any of you out there like 20 years old, you may see it in your lifetime. I'm 50. I won't see it in my lifetime. I don't think. I hope not. But gosh, what a horrible thing. I see it. It's happening, guys. It's happening before our eyes. As much as we try to close these borders and build a wall, I don't think that's ever going to happen. And these people are just going to outnumber us, and they're going to outvote us. So anyway, I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. I'm just saying I think we need to be realistic about this, and look at the possibility of when Trump puts his justices in there. Hopefully, we can at least get another 30, 40 years before a president, a Democratic president, has a chance to start replacing some of these justices out there. Some pretty decent candidates. I got to tell you, I don't mind telling you, when I look at when the left gets most upset about a Supreme Court nominee, that's the one that I want to be in there the worst. And right now, it's a shame. Somebody asked Trump the other day if any of the people on his list were women. Well, we all saw the list already. We knew what it was. So of course there were a bunch of women on there. But what a stupid question to ask. Who gives a rip if there's women on there? I want constitutionalists on there. If Trump had 15 hardcore constitutionalists on there and they were all women, I don't care. If they were all men, I don't care. I care what they stand for. Isn't it a shame that we have to ask not what their qualifications are, and we don't ask why are they good for the job? We ask, are they women? What a stupid, shallow comment. That's like me hiring somebody or interviewing 5 people, and my office manager comes in and says, were any of them black? Who cares if they were black? I want to hire the best people. I'm not trying to hire the best skin color. I'm not trying to hire the best gender. So people are asking about are there women. Now, I will say this. The woman that he's got, Amy Coney Barrett, she's probably the one that I'm going to like the most because she's pissing everybody. She's pissing all the Democrats off. They're all mad at it because guess why? Because she's a Catholic. Now, that's not the grounds that I ever choose anybody over. I'm Catholic, just so you know, but I don't pick or vote for anybody because of what their religion is. That's no different than disliking or liking somebody because of what their skin color or their gender is. But the Democrats hate this woman. So the more they hate a candidate, the more I'm like, that's the one I want, because clearly they're scared of her. So we may have another woman on there. That's going to give us 4 women out of 9 on there. You know, I'm okay with that. I'm not anti-woman at all. I mean, if she's the best candidate, fine. Only if she's the best candidate. Do not put her in there just because she's a woman. What did I tell you her name? I think I did. Yeah, Amy Coney Barrett. Let's see. Yeah, Dianne Feinstein actually said at one point that the dogma lives loudly within you, and that's of concern. If Dianne Feinstein does not like a Supreme Court nominee, that Supreme Court nominee is probably going to do a fine job for us. Anyhow, that's you can go find the list. I may post the list of all these nominees very soon, just so you guys can see them. Here's another story that I thought was a little interesting. James Comey. I don't have much use for the man. I think that he's a coward. He clearly reigned as FBI director from a political standpoint. I think that that's never good. I think you can have your own views and still try to do the right thing when you're at a position like that in law enforcement, so to speak. That's like a sheriff only enforcing laws that he agreed with. You know, you're supposed to enforce them all and without prejudice. James Comey obviously proved that he's not a good guy, that he's an ass, he's a political hack, that he is an egomaniac. I mean, he's got tons of things wrong with him. A recent story came out, and I don't know if this is from his book or what, that, of course, James Comey is a big supporter of gun control. He was recently at a London speech where he said, and I quote, "I'm comfortable around guns. I own guns. Surely there are things we can agree upon that relate to who is able to buy a weapon." This is the guy that's supposed to enforce the Constitution upon the law of the land, or with the law of the land. But says, surely there are things we can agree upon that relate to who is able to buy a weapon, what kind of weapon, at what age, what the capabilities of the weapon are, meaning semi-automatic, how many rounds does it hold, and things like that, that in no way threaten the rights under the U.S. Constitution of people to keep and bear arms. Okay, look, James Comey, when you just decided that you thought it was okay to limit who could buy a weapon, what kind of weapon, how many rounds it could have in it, what the capabilities of the weapon are, and all those things, you just threatened our rights of the U.S. Constitution. So you're contradicting yourself in your very own paragraph. This is a guy that was director of the FBI. And then he goes on to admit that when he had meetings, that 85% or 80% of the staff in the meetings were all armed. So he got to the point where he didn't even carry a gun anymore because he felt safe because everybody around him was armed. Doesn't that sound like just about every other liberal that you can think of that's either in a position of fame or power, that they feel comfortable all the time because they're always surrounded by armed people? And then those are the same people that always want to take our guns away from us. They can't relate to the common folk like you and me. So they say, we don't need guns because I don't need a gun. Everybody around me is armed and they're protecting me. So I don't need a gun. So why should you? How stupid is that? You know, I get so tired of hearing these better than everybody else people talk about how we don't need guns because, hey, man, I don't need to carry one every day. Yeah, you don't need to carry one because you have 85% of the people that were around you that were always armed. Of course you were never going to get mugged or harmed or anything like that. That's how these shallow minds think. People are they're whacked out. That's all that I've got for news. I do have something pretty cool that I want to, actually, let me open that back up because I'll be able to see you guys, excuse me, comments. And I'll try to follow that. here in a little bit. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to open that back up here in a second. I want to show you guys something that I got that I'm kind of excited about. We shall see. The jury might still be out on it. Let's see. Let me get this taken apart real quick, and I'll show you. Here we go. All right. Let me pull this out of here. All right, you guys see what this is? This is made by CAA. If you have not heard, it's the Micro-Roni. I call it the macaroni, but it's the Micro-Roni. This thing is pretty interesting, man. You can see the hole, it's open right there. It's made to fit a Glock pistol in. I got the model that fits a 19. I've got most of the Glock models, but I figured I wanted to get one with a 19 to do my review on. You basically take your Glock and you slide this thing down the back. I lifted it up just a little bit so you could see. You slide it down over your serrations like that. And we're not loaded, obviously, just so you guys know. You slide it over your serrations like that, so then that's basically your charging handle that protrudes through the Micro-Roni. Then you take your Micro-Roni, I turned it upside down here, and you slide, let me get where you can see it. You slide your Glock into it like this, push it down, and you slide it forward into place. See, it kind of snaps into place there. You slide this latch down, close it, and yeah, push it forward, it locks into place. So now you've basically got kind of like a mini rifle here that you can charge through this handle right here on both sides. Either side, you can pull it. And it's pretty neat, man. You can actually, you see it comes with the SB Tactical Brace. You can fold this thing. I noticed that it's a little bit difficult to get your hand around it if you're trying to shoot this thing without it. It doesn't lock in place. Like it kind of, if you'll notice, it kind of pops into place like that because this latch right here catches this band right there. So you could slide your hand in there and basically it would push that out. You see what I did? You put your hand in and it's going to push that stock away, so you can slide your hand in like that. So you could shoot it with one hand if you wanted to, but I mean, obviously you swing it back out. That is an SB Tactical, so it does have ATF approval, so you could shoulder it if you wanted to. You could put some flip up sights on here, or probably want to put, just from looking at how the distance is, you probably want to put you a red dot about right here. It's probably where it would go, where it would fit good, right up in here. But yeah, man, I mean, obviously it's going to use Glock mags because it's a Glock gun in it. But pretty cool. They do have a pretty neat little thing that I thought was neat, kind of a trigger guard right here. If you'll notice, that trigger guard kind of, it keeps the finger from being able to get in there. If you use this thing as a truck gun or whatever, you're going to be able to go in there and keep that from getting in your way. But you actually can slide your finger in to push that out of the way if you needed to. So if you were trying to get to your trigger, you could still get to it just by swinging your finger in there and clearing that trigger guard out of the way. Does have, as you can see, Picatinny rails. These are real Picatinny rails right here, where you could put a flashlight, laser, whatever you want to do on the side of it. And again, you have your rail all the way across the top. You know, that's kind of cool too. Let's see. Oh, as far as this is kind of cool too. You can they make, and I'm waiting for the whole kit to come in. That's why I haven't done a video review. You guys will see that probably next week. But they make a light. CAA makes a light kit. I want to say it comes with, you can get the light. There's like 3 or 4 things that it comes with. It's like a kit to upgrade it to the next whatever. But what you do is you can pinch this thing in, and this little deal, it's just like a plastic thing. There's no light there. And your new light kind of goes right inside there. It takes the place of this. So by fitting in there, you know, that's, your light's going to protrude just like that. And then you'll be able to, it's kind of neat because you have your thumb on this side over here is actually going to push in on the light button. So when you're holding your gun like this, your thumb's going to be able to activate that light. So you're going to be able to control it without having to move your hand or anything like that. So yeah, man, these things are kind of cool. Like I said, it's got the SB Tactical Brace on it. As far as taking it down, just as easy. You basically press this button right here, press that, and then you pull this thing down, and then you simply lift it up. And that exposes the Glock on the inside. Now you have to grab these two tabs right here. There's one on each side. That's what's locking. It's basically holding your, it's holding your Glock by the rail, by the accessory rail. So you pull this down and it releases the pistol like that, where it slides back, and then of course back out again, just like that. I mean, it's really that easy. Whoops, good thing it's not loaded. Good thing that wasn't a SIG, right? So again, if you were, probably the biggest, I guess, slowdown of this whole system is this piece right here. Because if you didn't have that, which you need that to cock it, but obviously if you didn't have that, I mean, to engage this thing would be so fast. I mean, you could simply bam, 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 it's gonna go together that fast. So I guess it's more along the lines of, if you wanted to disassemble it and use this just as a handgun, that's where you have the benefit, not necessarily, you know, putting it in, but you know, removing it and using it by itself. There's probably some advantages, and I'll obviously find these out whenever I shoot my video. There's probably some advantages from keeping this thing steady when you shoot it. You know what I mean? You've got two hands on it now. You know, the further apart your hands are, usually the more steady your weapon is going to be. So instead of, like if you're shooting a pistol, instead of it just being right here, now I'm going to have my second hand, my support hand up front here. Plus, I'm able, if I want to shoulder this SB Tactical brace, I have another point of contact and then your cheek weld. So you for sure can have two. You can have three if you just put the cheek on it, and then you can have four if you put your shoulder. So you're going to have this thing so steady by those points of contact that you're going to get a better shot off. Now, don't be thinking that you're going to get a better shot off because you have a little bit longer barrel. As you can see, the bullet, the round will never touch the barrel. This is just a hollow sleeve right here that the bullet's going to fly out of. So you're not going to get any more accuracy from this. In fact, there's not really slop in here, but you have to believe, you know, as easy as that pistol went in there, that it's not, you know, hammered down in there. So your pistol is going to move a little bit. So even though you have those points of contact where you're steadying that, it's still going to have the potential to be able to move a little bit inside the frame. You know, your pistol inside the frame is going to have some movement. Not much, but flexing and things of that nature will come into play. So again, if you really took all the pros and cons of it, yes, you're bound to get more accurate with this. I mean, shooting a 9mm with a little small barrel like that, if you shot it like this, there's no doubt in my mind that it is going to be more accurate than if you shot it like this. So just my thoughts. I'm looking forward to it though. Like I said, I ordered the little kit that comes with it. That's going to make it like the upgraded model. I don't know why I didn't get this upgraded to begin with, but what's going on here? But anyway, yeah, all the little stuff that I got that's going to upgrade it is going to make this thing really cool. I'm really looking forward to it. So hopefully, if not this weekend, next week I'll be filming something on this. It does have a slide release or slide stop, whatever you guys want to call it. It doesn't work very well. That's the only negative that I've seen on this, that doesn't work all that great. In fact, there was, I don't know if the little lever, the little latch, is like a little piece of metal on the inside that rides on top of your slide release of your actual Glock on the inside there. I found that there was one time when I had cocked this thing, and if you notice, my slide doesn't lock back right there. I'm thinking this thing is kind of in the way of it. I have the magazine in, so it should lock. Well, one of the times that it locked, I don't know if that release, the little piece of metal was on top of it or not, but it locked back and it locked this thing rearward like that. Well, when you have it totally back like that, you can't remove the Glock from here. So what I had to do was I had to hold this back, because it was already held back, but I had to hold it so it didn't slam forward, and get a screwdriver and push down going through the ejection port to release the slide stop or release, so that it would allow the slide to go back forward again. So that was kind of like, you know, and now this thing kind of it moves around what it feels like kind of freely. So again, I don't think it's engaging that at all. Maybe I have a defective one or something like that. I don't know, but no matter what, I mean, I'm not really worried about that. It's not, again, it won't lock open. That's the only disadvantage to that. But I mean, you can still obviously work everything you need. I don't use my slide stop all the time whenever I'm putting my next round in. So that's not a huge deal to me. I mean, I could always just grab, again, right here. So that's easy enough for me to do. But yeah, man, this thing's pretty cool. It's neat looking. This is, I guess this is the OD green one. I don't remember ordering OD green, but I'm sure to you guys it looks OD green to you. It's clearly not black, but I mean, it's not flat dark earth. I don't have anything flat dark earth in here. I guess I kind of do. This bag right here. So yeah, I guess it's not flat dark earth. It's definitely green. So anyhow, I'm kind of excited about this. Been wanting to get my hands on one for a while, so it's cool looking. Let's see, fellas. I'm going to look at some of your questions now and comments before we get out of here. What is it? 7:31. And let's see. I'm going to take my glasses off for a second. It's sad when you take your glasses off so you can see. You know you're getting old when you do that. Of course, I got to put this thing way up to my face now. Let's see. Oh, Mr. FNH says something about cleaning up his yard from the 4th of July. Let me show you guys something. Let's see, where is it? I don't know if I have, yeah, here we go. I have security cameras all around my house, as I'm sure most of you guys do too. And the beauty of security cameras now is that when your neighbors do stupid things, you can bust their asses on it. So let me show you something. I'm one of the guys that got a little pissed off because July 4th night up until midnight, people were shooting fireworks. I want to show you this. This is from my front door. See if you guys can see this. You're not going to be able to see it. No. Maybe back here. Let's see. If I get too close, I know you can't see from the glare. This is basically my front door. There's a camera that shoots down on my front door. Let me show you this. Here is fireworks being shot at my front door. Yeah, that's two being shot directly at my front door. So I didn't realize that. I mean, I was trying to sleep at the time when that took place. So I didn't know that those shots came at. But what I do is the next morning when I wake up, I'll grab my phone and I'll scroll through all of my captured video on my security cameras around my house. And I just happened to see that one. And of course, the thumbnail of it was a bunch of fire in the picture. I was like, holy crap. So I was able to take that video and I texted it to my neighbor across the street, whose kid is most likely the one who did that. And I said, are these your guys? Because this seems like it's being shot directly at my front door. And she texted me back about 5 minutes later and said, yeah, that was us. It wasn't intentional. The thing fell over, and then when it fell over, it shot directly at your house, and then we quit. I don't think she's home. I think that's her kid there by himself. He's like freshman in college. And I'm not going to say anything too negative about him because I don't know if she's watching or not, but he's been known to have parties that I didn't approve of, like kids pissing in my front yard, that kind of thing. So I have a very low opinion of the kid to begin with. So I think that he probably just told her, yeah, Mom, we accidentally shot one at his front door. And then when we did that, you know, we felt bad, so we quit. I call bull crap on that. You know, I heard them kids shooting fireworks for quite a while. Again, I'm not the grumpy old guy in the neighborhood. I don't mind people having their fun, but when you start shooting explosives at people's houses, that ain't cool. That ain't cool. Even I didn't do that kind of stupid stuff whenever I was a kid. So luckily I didn't see all that going on. You know, I was trying to sleep at the time. So luckily I didn't see that was going on whenever I was still awake. But anyway, guys, I may shut it down a little bit early tonight, y'all, simply because I don't have any reading glasses, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I can't see hardly anything that y'all are writing or commenting on because I am so blind. I mean, I really can't. Oh, I do see one question. Yes. You're a waste. Ask any more Cold War videos coming? Absolutely. The last one, and I purposely held the M16 for being last, or the AR-15, whatever you want to call it, simply because it has such a, I guess you could call it a robust history. I know all the other guns, the G3, the FNFAL, the M14, all those guys had a really, really cool history to them. But man, the M16 guys, you could read 5 books on the M16 and no one would repeat anything in all 5 of the books. So there's so much to research and talk about. And I mean, I've been wrong in videos before, and I don't want to be wrong in this one because that is the American rifle. You can say what you want about it. There's way more of them out there than any other rifle in America. So it's such an important rifle that I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to flub it up. In fact, it's probably going to be in multiple segments simply because I try not to put out 30-minute videos if I can. I know there's some YouTubers out there that do that, and I can't sit through a 30-minute video online. I mean, I try to keep my videos around 10 minutes if I can, just because it's so hard to keep people's attention out there. I leave a lot of good stuff that I record. I cut it out. I take it out of the video simply because I feel like people are not interested in it. It took me a while to get to where, it's hard to edit video of yourself sometimes. You may not see things as critically, or you may be more accepting of things that you see in yourself. I'm finally to that point where in my own videos where I can cut out crap that I know people don't want to hear or see. So, I mean, many times I've cut out 5-10 minutes of a video just because I'm like, man, nobody wants to watch this for 20, 25, 30 minutes. So my M16 video is going to be a long video, and I feel like just so I don't have to bore somebody with a 30-minute video, I'm probably going to break it down into installments, into 2, possibly 3 different videos. Probably start off with the early M16, the history of the early M16, and then how maybe I'll break it down into years, and maybe the late 60s, early 70s M16s, and then progress on like that. But nevertheless, there's so much interesting history, and it's very interesting. Obviously political things happen everywhere, and guns is no exception. Guns get brought into theater and things like that for the wrong reasons sometimes. I'm not saying the M16 was. I'm just saying it's usually not always the best gun. It's many times it's just like it's the next gun. So yeah, that one's going to be coming out, man. I'm probably not going to finish it. Let's see, what is it, July now? I probably won't finish it this summer simply because it's so freaking hot down here. Down here in South Louisiana, we've been having heat indexes of 105 degrees with 90-something% humidity the last, I don't know, heat index got up to 109 the end of last week. So it's not the kind of stuff that's actually fun for me to go out and do, although I'll be out videoing this weekend, but I can go out and video a lot of these reviews like of this Micro Ronin. I can go out and bang out a review in, an hour, whereas the M16 is going to probably require a couple of days of videoing outside, and that's just going to be too overwhelming. I don't want to do that. I don't want to screw it up because I don't want to rush it, feeling like I'm so hot or I'm so uncomfortable that I want to hurry and, get this thing done, and then I leave some good stuff out. But yeah, the Cold War one will be coming out. I'm thinking about doing something on Cold War pistols, but you know how it is, man. These guns, I own these guns, so I buy these guns. Cold War pistols, that just means I'm gonna have to go out and buy a bunch of Cold War pistols. And believe it or not, I don't have a Browning high power. I don't know why. I've shot many Browning high powers and I don't have one. So that might be one that I end up having to purchase for sure for a Cold War pistol segment. I do have some CZ75s. I have those. There's some Russian guns that I probably have to run across. So there'd be some not Russian, some pistols that I would have to invest in order to do a Cold War pistol segment. So I'm not really sure once I finish up the Cold War rifle segment what I'm going to move on to next, the next series. I do have some self-defense series of videos that I'm going to be putting out home defense, you know, being safe in your car when you travel, at work. You know, so it won't be all just dedicated strictly to firearms. I am looking at, you know, the average guy out there like me, things that would apply to him and her. So I'm trying to put some stuff together that be helpful, you know, that you don't have to pay big money for in a class or something. So anyway, man, that's pretty much it. Things are kind of getting back to normal. I mean, as you guys know, I think we talked about it last week, it was, or a week before. Our friend Richard Pursuti that owned Gator Guns passed away, and you know, they're back open for business. You know, I support all local gun stores. We've got a bunch of them here in Lake Charles, Louisiana, Lake Charles and Sulphur, Louisiana. So I support all of them. Richard just happened to be a very close friend of mine for many years. They're doing good. The family's doing well, and I appreciate everybody who's, you know, commented nicely about it, and you know, wished everybody well. So that's cool of you guys to do that. It's 7:40, guys. Again, I think I'm going to go ahead and bug on out of here simply because I don't have my good glasses. My other glasses are, honestly, I don't know where. They might be in my vehicle outside. So I'm going to shut it down. We'll be probably doing, somebody made a comment last week to do some live streams out the range. I'm probably going to try to start doing that. But again, the heat is so brutal right now. You're probably going to see me drinking more Gatorade than shooting guns right now. But at some point I am going to do that. I'm going to incorporate some live stuff when I'm recording some actual videos. I'll do, like, I guess it would be kind of like a behind the scenes footage thing, but it would be a live behind the scenes footage. So you'll see some of the stupid stuff that I do, how I screw up, you know, when I do something dumb or whatever, and that'll all be live and capturing that live. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, it may not be so much fun for you guys or for me, but you know, we'll give it a shot and see. Again, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it as always. I apologize for not being able to interact with you guys at all. What I may do is leave the camera running and go find my glasses, and then sit in the other room or something like that while we're still live. Obviously, nobody will be on camera, just be looking at my backdrop. And then I can at least go through your comments, because I mean, I've only read one. I haven't been able to read anything that you guys are talking about. So again, maybe I'll do that. Let me go find my glasses, and then I'll get back on here, excuse me, and read through your comments, and I'll start commenting through the texting, chatting area with you all. Excuse me. As always, guys, you know, thank you very much for hanging out with me. I know you all have better things to do on a Friday night than sit here and watch me talk about stuff, but it's a lot of fun to me. I enjoy it. I enjoy interacting with you guys. We have a lot of the same faces every week, and then we have a lot of new people every week too. So that's always fun to me, you know, seeing where all you guys are from, the shout outs from where you're located at. It's cool. I think last week we had somebody from Switzerland or something like that. That's always fun to me. You know, it's cool. It's cool to do that. So thank you guys. And like I always say, man, if you're going out tonight, if you're drinking, let somebody else drive. Look over your shoulder, guys. You know, don't be the next victim. Watch out for people. You know, unfortunately, we can't trust every single person on the street these days anymore, whether they're driving or walking. So just, you know, watch your back, guys. And, you know, hopefully you're, you know, you're not by yourself or something, and you've got somebody you can watch their back and they can watch yours. But anyway, guys, if you go to the range this weekend, be safe, shoot straight, take a kid, take an old person out, try to introduce somebody to weapons, and, you know, in a safe, responsible manner. Again, as I always try to say again, we all have a pretty strong, heavy responsibility. The anti-gun community is just waiting for us, those of us in the pro-gun community, to slip up and do something stupid. So I feel like we have a pretty big burden on our shoulders, which I think we're all worthy of carrying, but it is a big responsibility to make sure we don't do something stupid. The last thing we need to do is have a shooting or a potential death based on a shooting accident at one of our gun ranges and give the left the chance or the opportunity to shut a gun range down. So, you know, it's not just our own personal safety and the personal safety of our friends and neighbors, but, you know, we also have, I guess if you want to call it, a political responsibility to make sure that we don't give the left any red meat and give them the opportunity to start shutting gun ranges down to try to prove that they're unsafe or something like that. So, guys, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go grab my, run into the other room over there and grab my glasses, and I will start interacting with you guys on my iPad. We'll see you guys next week. Shutting it down, guys. See you guys next week.